Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so pumped you're here. Listen, if you're a young adult trying to navigate the completely wild, sometimes chaotic world of adulthood, you've landed in the exact right place. Today, I am officially stepping into the role of your personal financial coach. We're going to look at something that's operating entirely behind the scenes of your life. Using our source material as a playbook, we're going to decode the literal source code of your daily routine and figure out exactly what's pulling the strings.
So I want to start off by asking you this directly. Who is actually running your day? Now seriously, take a second and think about it. You might say, well, my boss, or my alarm clock, or maybe my own completely free will, obviously. But I want to trigger a little bit of a mindset shift right now. Because whether you realize it or not, there's a silent partner in almost every single decision you make. From the literal second you open your eyes to the minute you go to sleep. It influences where you go, who you see, and what you tolerate. And if you don't know who or what is pulling those strings, well, you can never truly be in the driver's seat of your own life.
All right, let's get into section 1, money's hidden daily influence.
You know, we so often think of money as just this abstract concept, right? Like it's just numbers on a screen, or something we check on payday, or maybe that stressful topic we desperately try to avoid at dinner parties. But the reality drawn from our sources today is that money is the invisible architect of your physical routine. It isn't just sitting in a bank somewhere, it's actively shaping the world around you. Let's walk through a totally typical morning. 7 a.m., your alarm goes off. The actual apartment you're waking up in, the safety of your neighborhood, the mattress you're sleeping on, that's dictated by your financial situation. Okay, 8 a.m., you're grabbing breakfast. The quality of that food, whether it's a cheap, rushed granola bar or a fresh, nutrient-dense smoothie, is directly connected to money. 9 a.m. hits, time for the commute. The reliability of the car you drive, the public transit you have to take, or hey, whether you even have the privilege to work remotely, all fundamentally tethered to your financial resources. So literally, from the very moment you wake up, your finances are dictating your physical reality.
And it doesn't just stop at your morning coffee or your commute either. Let's zoom out a bit and look at the macro level. Financial resources act the ultimate gatekeeper to your lifelong choices. They determine the neighborhood you live in, which then dictates the quality of the schools in your district, which then dictates where your future kids go to school, and ultimately what broader life opportunities you and your family can even pursue. It's like this massive domino effect. When you're in your 20s or 30s, the financial foundation you're setting up isn't just about buying cool stuff or keeping up with trends. Actually, scratch that. It is literally about building the stage where the rest of your life is going to play out.
Moving on to section 2, the heavy cost of stress. Look, I get it. Being a young adult right now, not easy. Between inflation, the crazy rising cost of living, and trying to build a solid career from scratch, the psychological toll is very real, and man, it is heavy. We really need to be honest about the emotional side of money because ignoring it absolutely doesn't make it go away. The sheer mental load so many people are hauling around every single day is staggering. We're talking about the constant, humming anxiety of utility bills, that suffocating heavy blanket of student loans or high-interest credit card debt, the dreaded first-of-the-month panic over making rent, the looming threat of healthcare costs, or the absolute dread of unexpected emergencies, like your transmission blowing out on the highway or a sudden medical issue. So many young adults spend a massive, significant portion of their daily lives just worrying about these exact things. It completely consumes your mental energy.
And here's why this matters so much. That stress, it doesn't just stay neatly confined to your banking app or your budgeting spreadsheet. No, it bleeds out into everything else. Our sources point out that financial pressure severely impacts relationships. In fact, it's consistently ranked as one of the leading causes of friction and breakups between couples. It impacts your career choices too, like maybe forcing you to stay in a toxic, soul-crushing job just because you desperately need the paycheck and the health insurance. And most importantly, it takes a massive toll on your physical and mental well-being. Lack of sleep, elevated cortisol, burnout. Money stress is, quite literally, life stress.
Let's look at this stark contrast for a second. On one side, we have the trap, stress. Constantly worrying about rent, drowning in debt, fearing healthcare costs. It's a highly defensive way to live, always bracing for impact, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But look at the alternative over on the other side, freedom. This is what happens when you have built-in options. You can handle emergencies without having a full-blown panic attack. You can change careers if you're unfulfilled because you actually have a runway to figure things out. The difference between these two realities, between bracing for impact and actually having some breathing room, is exactly why we need to master this topic today.
Which brings us to section 3, buying freedom and options.
I want to shift gears here. We've acknowledged the pain and the stress, right? But now, as your coach, I want to outline the empowering solution. We are going to flip the script from being controlled by money to using money to buy back our lives.
Having savings and investments creates options that might not otherwise exist. And listen, I need you to completely reframe what the word saving actually means. It is not about depriving yourself today. It's not about just hoarding cash under a mattress because you're scared. The true purpose of savings and investments is actively manufacturing options for your future self. You are literally buying future freedom.
Just look at the incredible doors that open when you do that. When you unlock financial freedom, your entire perspective completely shifts. A flat tire, it becomes a minor Tuesday morning inconvenience instead of a month-ruining crisis. You can confidently pivot and change careers, maybe taking a risk on an industry you actually love. You can start that small business you've been daydreaming about for years. You can pursue personal goals, travel, create art, or start a family, all without that constant draining background fear. Just imagine how incredibly light you would feel if you just removed financial terror from your daily equation. It's a total game changer.
All right, Section 4, redefining money as a tool.
Okay, this right here is the ultimate red pill moment of this explainer, where we completely shatter and rebuild how we define wealth. Let's see how redefining your financial life builds across these 4 fundamental steps: earning, saving, investing, and using. Our source material makes it abundantly clear. Money doesn't just influence your spending, it shapes your core habits and your life priorities. How you handle these 4 steps will directly determine your future quality of life. Think about it. If you just earn and immediately use, you're stuck on a treadmill, running endlessly just to stay in the exact same place. But when you actively integrate saving and investing into that cycle, you finally step off the treadmill and you start building the actual architecture of your own independence.
So the absolutely crucial point is this new definition. Money is not just paper, coins, or digits in a database. You gotta stop looking at it that way right now. It is a tool. Just like a hammer can be used to build a beautiful house or, smash your thumb, money is a completely neutral tool that dramatically affects your time, your choices, your security, and your freedom. It just amplifies whatever you direct it toward. You have to start respecting it as the ultimate instrument for designing the life you actually want to live rather than this master you're forced to serve.
Now, if all of this feels a little overwhelming, or if you feel like you're starting from way behind, just take a deep breath. Understanding how money impacts your daily life is the very first step toward taking control. By simply being here, exploring this explainer, and recognizing this invisible architecture today, you have already taken that massive, essential first step. You're waking up to the reality of how the game is played, and that means you can finally start playing it to win.
I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought. Will you take control of your finances or let them control you? The invisible architecture is there. The strings are attached. The only question now is, whose hands are going to be on them tomorrow morning when that 7 a.m. alarm goes off? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.